The buzz on the spin. Hey Hoagie, there's problems in Sector 4. It's never an easy day when it immediately starts with problems. It usually means that it's going to stay full of the things until you hit critical mass and throw whatever asshole is giving you a hard time into hard vacuum. Am I allowed to walk onto Central Command first, or should I turn around and head for Hivers now? He asks, and there's a sympathetic look. I'll get going. He taps a small button pinned to his collar. It's both a tracer and a comm badge. Fill me in. What's today's mess? There's a counterfeiter on the station. Shit. What kind are we looking at? Counterfeiters always got people excited, which is a good way for a lot of people to end up dead. The good and smart ones make a killing copying famous art and impersonating celebrities. Everyone sees through the bullshit, but the quality is usually high enough for people to just not care. Most of them were in nightlife and making a good living as casino entertainers. Those that screwed with currency and rare metals, though, those ones kicked off riots. Brass with a thin Kutha coating. We didn't realize what was going on until they were melted down for use, and everything went to shit. I won't bore you with the details, but there have been a dozen small injuries due to the vastly different melting points, and a production line is down until they clear the brass out, which could take hours. Which is a few million credits in lost production alone, Hoagie groans as he cracks his neck. I want the counterfeiter found Eastman. You've made Sector 4 your stomping ground, and I respect that, but as you want to be the big woman in the wings, you have to keep it in line. Minasai says to him in a sing-song voice, and he can't help but wonder if her tentacles are rubbing together. She is very much the type to test people all the time. I'm aware. He responds even as he traverses through the bulkhead to Sector 4 and steps into the lift. A press of a button later and he starts moving. There's the sensation of vertigo as it creates its own personal gravity bubble before physically turning to adjust him to the sector in question. If you walk along the outside edge, it's all going outwards, but the gravity in the central core is completely different. The hub around which the station slowly turns has an up-down gravity rather than down and out. He steps out in the earthy air of the Hivers and grins. His girls will be hard at work in the hydroponics. The entire station is buzzing with energy, and there's a distinct country feel to things despite having a population density equal to, if not greater than Tokyo, Dubai, or New York. All right, time to get to work, he says, checking his communicator. All the details are already there. 14 brass bars disguised as Kutha discovered, 5 of them traced to the Hivers. Those currency exchangers are going to be pissed. Hopefully they like the flower pattern, he mutters to himself as he tucks the device into the breast pocket of his Hawaiian shirt. The walk to the money exchanger where this mess was currently being tracked to was about a solid 10 minutes. It's one of several competing businesses, and all of them already hated the idea of him showing up, especially after his girls had done that being where they had effectively threatened literally everyone in the sector to stay the hell away from him. Befika's bounty. He reads the name of the sign out loud. Oh no. The proprietor groans the moment he opens the door. Hello, Befika. I'm here on business, Hoagie says, and the rabbi's proprietor sighs into all 4 hands. There was a day not long ago that the idea of a man walking into my store was exciting, not terrifying. Oh, relax. I'm not here to hurt you. You don't have to. Your idiot wives just have to get paranoid. True. So how about we do this quickly then? Don't say that. If they hear us... Good God, woman, grow a pair. I'm on duty. Which is even worse news. Station command only gets involved when it's pissed off. True enough, Hoagie remarks as he walks up to the counter and Befika leans back and away. There's a counterfeiter on station. Some of the Kutha bars passed to you were gilded brass. Fuck, what's the damage? We have a factory line down on Sector 6 We're bleeding millions of credits in lost production, and that's not even taking into account the injuries. From what I understand, the improperly melted brass caused several mechanisms to seize up then slam into each other. The chain reaction was nasty. And you traced them here? Yes. Someone passed you dud goods. We need to know who, he says, and Beffica nods before pressing a button to cause the door behind him to slam shut. Right. Follow me and we'll get this over with. Could you please stop sounding like a resigned whore? I'm not going to touch you, Hoagie demands, and she gives him the stink eye. That's the problem. She sighs under her breath as she heads into the back and comes out with a small container of Kutha ingots. Each one is labeled with a date and time on them. I hate cutting into these bars, but so long as they weight the same, I can still trade them just as easily. Yay, brass has the same density, so we need to get at least 2 millimeters in to get past the gilding, Hoagie remarks as she quickly pulls them out and lays them in a row. She then cuts a tiny corner off one and then runs a scanner over the metal underneath. She systematically repeats this down the line until she frowns at the readout. Found it. 5 days ago, 2:40 in the afternoon. Hoagie notes the date and time. Beffica quickly packs away all the Kutha, bagging the cut ingots with the sliver to keep all the metal together. All right, let's get that security footage so you can get out, Beffica remarks as her 4 arms move in a flurry to put everything but the tainted bar away. I only have this one left, so if you have some null space magic nonsense to do, then do it on that one. Have you polished it since you got it? Hoagie asks, not even reaching out for the ingot and hoping that fingerprinting might be on the table. What? Why wouldn't I? It was brought in filthy, so I put it under a wash along with the rest. I see. Then there goes the null space bullshit. I'll need the security footage. Unhung? Well, first do something about her, Beffica remarks, pointing to the reinforced window. One of his girls is there with an ablator out and glowing brightly as she glares inside. Bright red hair, dyed of course, a rangefinder visor over her face, a stretched t-shirt with ripped-off sleeves and clear nipple piercings under a leather vest loaded with more zippers and buckles than it could ever need, and a pair of shining leather short shorts that are more akin to a mildly stretched-out thong being supposedly held up with a chain. All of that with ornamental heeled boots because Sharby fly whenever they can get away with it. That hot mess goes by Zizzy, one of Hoagie's many, many wives. Unlock the door. It seems I need to have a talk. Hoagie tells the shop owner, who nods, and there's an unlatching sound. Before the Sharbus gangbanger farmer can respond, he opens the door quickly, grabs her around the top of the head, and yanks her inside. All right. It seems I'm going to have this conversation with each and every one of you systematically at this rate, and that's fine. I've got the speech memorized. You need to respect my independence. But I am a trained soldier and killing machine. If I get in trouble, follow the trail of bodies and screams of my victims to find me. I am not some shrinking, sniveling little wimp. I am undaunted. I am not to be fucked with, and you would need multiple Crimson Hewers to match me. I appreciate the concern, but all you're doing is wasting your time. I'm fine. But between the two of us, I have more weapons, more armor, and more training with both. I'm fine. I'm on the job, and I'm at no risk of being stolen. I like you girls, but when the work boots are on, I'm in work mode. Okay? "Kay," she says before blinking and then finally remembering to use her wings, and she starts flying off away from him a bit after he lets go. "Can I still follow you today?" "Only if you let me do my job. I'm going to be bouncing from one part of the station to the other, following a counterfeiter. Talking to a fair amount of people is what I'm mostly going to be doing, and most of them won't take kindly to an ablator shoved in their faces," Hoagie says, and she nods. Yeah, I worry. We jumped you hard and, well, you're ours now and we protect what's ours," she says somewhat shyly, and Hoagie sighs. "I know you meant that in the best way possible, but be grateful that no other human heard that, because Oh my God, would that be taken the wrong way? Hoagie remarks, and there's an amused snort from Bafika. Right. Please point the ablator away from anyone, Zizzy. But that's half the fun of having an ablator, she protests, but the weapon powers down and is allowed to hang loosely. Right. While you two were sorting out your marital drama, I got our girl. Befika states, holding up a screen in her upper left hand as she packs everything away with the lower two and presses play with the upper right. It quickly shows a professionally nondescript Tret woman walk in and exchange the trade bars for the equivalent in coin. Well, that's a waste of time, Zizzy states. Only if you don't do this. Befika states, pressing another button which adds a filter to the screen. One that shows things with an axiom haze around them. It's a lizard woman, a cloaken, the more common type that isn't invisible by default. I upgraded the cameras 2 months ago. Looks like it just saved my puffy little tail. Great, and with this place being a refuge for the hunted, the next question is where she got the gilded bars. If we can find her. Fucking cloaken. Hoagie mutters as he holds out his communicator and copies the files. I can help with that, Zizzy offers, and Hoagie gives her a speculative look. The visor. I mugged it off some idiot who refused to respect our territory. Took a bit to resize it, but it works like a dream. Works strong enough to see through walls, too. Can I see it? Hoagie asks, and she backs up. I'm not going to steal it. Where would I stash it that you can't go? Section 0? You've got 25 sisters that can get in there as easy as you please. That's even worse. It won't fit you, but those bitches might try it on. Zizzy, your family is not out to get you. No, but they're still family. I'm not stupid enough to trust them with my stuff. This isn't going to be a problem when the eggs hatch, is it? I don't want you girls getting pissy about the kids. No. That's different. Babies are very, very different. Good. Because my opinion is that anyone that so much as gives a child of mine the stink eye is going to be dodging bullets. Okay, I've had enough of both of you screwing with my business. Here's your sample. I'll be fucking billing Section 0 for this shit later. Just get the hell out of my store, Befika says, jumping over the counter and quickly planting a pair of hands in the smalls of both of their backs and starting to push before stopping. She taps something hidden under Hoagie's Hawaiian shirt. The hell is that? Laser sword. Hoagie answers, drawing out the baton and then activating it. The entire thing extends, and at the top and near the bottom, emitters extend to give it a single edge of glowing red light. That is an industrial-strength laser cutter. It's designed to go through the sides of a ship, meaning it does work on skin and bone. Also, since it's a tool, it doesn't actually ping weapon scans. Go figure. Hoagie says with a grin before deactivating the weapon and tucking it away under his shirt again. I thought you humans stuck to kinetics, she protests as Zizzy laughs at the expression of sheer horror on her face. Oh, I got those too. Hoagie notes as he reaches up his sleeves and pulls out a trench knife from each one. Get the fuck out, Befika orders him, and he puts his hands up in surrender. It doesn't help much as his fingers are still in the knuckle guards of the knives. Put those things away and get the fuck out. 15 seconds later, Hoagie is struggling not to laugh as Zizzy is all but dying with mirth at his feet. The look on her face. Yep, Hoagie says as he examines the features of the cloaken woman. All right, this girl is of a Badlands descent if those little horns are telling me anything. Not much if anything in the way of feathers and a distinctive purple flare leading from her chin down to her chest. You want to be my eyes? Then that's what we're looking for, get it? Got it. Great, let's go. She's probably in brawl yards due to the atmosphere being the most comfortable for her, so let's check out some fight pits.